Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where we are currently working on landing somewhere near our descending node here. So we're going to have to advance forward here, of course, and see how this trajectory looks as time progresses. And it looks actually reasonably decent as we approach in here. I'm just going to warp ahead a little bit more, and yeah, we can see now that we definitely want to change this a little bit to be... Just wondering what this descending node is actually trying to point me to. This isn't what I'm actually interested in, is the descending node number. But what we're actually interested in is something along the lines of this. So let's go ahead and warp to that maneuver. And we are going to go ahead and turn over to the maneuver node here. This is only a 4-second burn. So we will position somewhere over... This is just a purely radial, or rather a purely normal burn. No, this is anti-normal. This is anti-normal. Of course, there's the little bits sticking out here. So we want to burn this at T minus 2 seconds, and that's exactly what we'll do. We'll just go ahead and warp towards that. Just a tiny little burn here. T minus 2 seconds is... now. Okay, let's see how that put us in terms of our trajectory. Our trajectory is looking good, actually. So right at about here, we want to do something along the lines of this-ish. Now, I think that this is a little bit on the early side. So we'd probably want to do it more like here. Kind of like that. Okay. And that's going to be in about 2 minutes, so let's warp ahead a little bit. This is, of course, going to be a pure retrograde burn. It may be a surface retrograde. I'm not sure if this is surface or orbital retrograde right now. Regardless, this is still looking pretty decent. I want to move it over this way a little bit. There we go. So that's going to be about 50 seconds out, and it looks like surface and orbit is literally the same, but maybe a target retrograde. So we want to burn this at about T minus 21.5 seconds, which will be not very long from now indeed. And this is our target destination right here, about 30 kilometers away. We're going to want to burn this right about now. We'll be passing over this in just a moment, of course. And we are coming to a stop momentarily. We're still moving at about 300 meters per second relative to the target. Make that about 200 meters per second relative to the target. And you can see here we may overshoot it slightly, but that's probably fine. And I'm just going to hold stability assist here. We'll do something like that, and we'll need to adjust our heading here a little bit, get rid of some of this horizontal speed. And I'm interested to know where exactly we'll be landing, but we'll figure that out in a moment. We'll just go ahead and point somewhere around here. How are we looking for our horizontal speed? We're still moving horizontally at about 10 meters per second, apparently. Interesting. I would not be expecting 10 meters per second horizontal speed right now. I guess we'll just go retrograde here and burn off all speed entirely. And in fact, we should be on stability assist. And we'll do something kind of like this. This horizontal speed is still 10 meters per second. We need to go into surface velocity here and push our surface velocity rather than have this be our target velocity. Let's just push this out over this way. There we go. Helps if we're using surface velocity rather than target. Okay, that's not bad there. So we are on our way down, and the question is, how far away are we going to hit? It looks like not very, but we probably want to head over a little closer. Because we know that we can't use jetpacks. So, we're just heading down here a little bit. Let's go on to radar altitude mode. Quick save in case I make a mistake with the time warp, since that's a gamey mechanic. And we'll just bring this on down a little bit. Suicide burn countdown is apparently 40 seconds here. And we'll just let this drop a bit. I am noticing we're definitely coming down to the side of this thing. And I would like to fix that by coming up this direction a bit. Like so. No, not that way. Not that way at all. I can't get it the direction I want it to go. Okay, we're just going to go retrograde. And actually, that's probably the reason why I can't, is because we're on retrograde. And let's burn off some of this speed. We'll just use up the rest of that. And there we go. I want to slow us down a bit. Let's go ahead and deploy our landing legs. We're not going to need them quite yet, but I want to definitely be burning right now. There's no doubt about that. Because our suicide burn countdown was a little bit spooky. So we're just going to slow down here, and we're probably going to have to take off again and try again to get up that way. Although we could head up over here something like this. And just get ourselves a little bit of horizontal speed heading this way. Yeah. That isn't terrible. Ah! Get over to the retrograde, please. Thank you very much. Just trying to adjust our positioning of that marker a little bit. Yeah, I actually want this to be a little further that way. So let's just go ahead and take it on over. There we go. And let's kill some of this vertical speed. And some of this horizontal. Okay. Something along the lines of this. And we'll now let our suicide burn countdown come on down. I'm not sure how close this is, but it can't be very far. And we'll get our burn on sometime around now. This might be a few hundred meters. We might want to take another hop and head over a little closer. So I'm just actually going to kill our speed here and burn it over this direction and overshoot it slightly like that. And then we'll head over to the retrograde marker. There we go. And we will go ahead and slow this on down a bit. This is much better. Okay. Something along the lines of this. And we'll go ahead and just bring this right on down. We'll just decelerate a little bit right now. There we go. We're about 100 meters up, coming down at about 11 meters per second. It's a little on the fast side. We'll decelerate a bit. This is looking nice for a landing. We don't need to decelerate quite that much. Maybe more like this now. I'm noticing we have some horizontal speed going here. That's a bit of a bounce, but we're okay. We're okay, and only about 30 meters away. Perfect. We'll grab a seismic scan. There we go. And we'll collect all that. And we'll grab a second seismic scan. And we'll just keep that stored here. Actually, we can have Sigfel EVA here. And we will go ahead and extend these ladders. Sigfel, go ahead and EVA. And we're going to drop off the jetpack. And we're going to pick up the... I'm not sure which one this is. That's the Communitron. We're going to pick up the seismometer. And then he's going to hop on down. We're going to open up this service bay, and we're going to collect the accelerometer data. There we go. close that service bay. And we're going to head on over and deploy our science equipment. So over goes Sigfel. Wonderful. And of course, we're only like 40 meters away, so this is very nice. That landing did require a lot of adjustment. There's no doubt about that, but it's all good. It's not like we have a shortage of fuel. I can't help but notice that this piece of power equipment has been knocked over. Now, I'm not saying it was aliens, but who else has been here since we have? Let's go ahead and deploy our seismic accelerometer here. Wonderful. Now, of course, this will only return data when there's seismic activity. The moon is not tectonically active, so we'll have to, like, drop things on the moon for this to get us data. Regardless, we'll head on back. Sigfel has done his job. I believe communitrons should be put up by engineers, so we can then have Bill come out and fix that solar panel and have him put up the communitron as well. Excellent. So we will hop back onto the ladder here. There we go. Hopefully our head doesn't get stuck. Looks like we're good. I'm going to go ahead and grab the jetpack out of here and give that back to Sigfel. And then we will hop on in. There we go. And Bill is, of course, going to have to hop out here. And he's going to need to grab the communitron and replace the jetpack. There we go. And down he goes. I'm a little surprised that we can't get a magnetometer reading from the surface of the moon, but okay. Apparently that's not a thing that we can do. We can try extending it, but I don't think we'll be able to get a reading. I also want to double check this. I don't think it actually matters who deploys the comms part, but we'll do it with an engineer just to be on the safe side. And we also need to have him out there to reposition that photovoltaic panel, right? So that'll be fine. Okay, Bill. Let's go ahead and get that comms unit down. There you go. And why don't you pick up this part here? And we'll just reposition this. I'm pretty sure that was aliens. Who else could it have been? Okay. There we go. Perfect. So everything here should be powered just fine. And indeed it is. Total power needed 4, total power available 7. We've got plenty of power here. We do have another power equipment that we can have Bill set up. We don't need it though, and I mean, maybe we'll want it later. I don't actually know what the maximum power requirement is on a vacuum body. So I guess we'll put it up and just call it good. So we will have this guy grab on. That's a weird way to say that, but that is what we're going to do indeed. And he's going to climb on up, and he is going to grab himself the power panel. And he's going to go set up his power. Excellent. I will say that the KER bullseye when you're walking around on the surface is definitely a little on the weird side. It's kind of big. There's no doubt about that. And it's like, yeah, I know where I'm going to land. This is not something that I actually need when I'm just running on the surface. It's a little bit of overkill. Regardless, it's not a big deal. We'll just go ahead and deploy our photovoltaic panel here. There we go. It'll probably also get knocked over by the aliens, and Bill will head on back to the lander. Wonderful. Is there anything else that we need here? I think we might be done. So we probably need to bring these guys back, huh? Valentina doesn't need to taste the ground here. There we go. He was phasing through the ladder in a really awkward manner, but that's fine. Okay, let's hop on in, and I guess we'll grab a seismic scan. We knew that we needed that. I'm going to try the magnetometer. I don't think it'll work. Yeah, nothing. That's fine. We'll collect everything we can. That's all we can do. Perfect. I do believe we're done here. Do we need... We're not. I forgot about the EVA science. I almost forgot the EVA science. Oh, I would have been upset. We specifically brought it for that purpose. So we're going to set our jetpack there, and then we're going to bring this in. This jetpack can go into Bill's inventory like that. Okay. So we've now got the EVA science here. So we can perform that, but we need to be on the ground, of course. And we're going to do what? We can do 3 EVA science experiments, I think. So we're going to do our EVA science, which apparently is not included in X Science. I think this is a new thing in the new patch, and X Science hasn't been updated, or at least this version hasn't. I have not checked to see if there is a 1.11 version. But Sigfel has done his golfing, and so we'll collect that, and up we go. We will, of course, store that in the experiment storage module. Can we do that immediately? Without hopping back in? We can't reach it. Okay, we'll just hop in. And then we will collect everything we can. There we go. Sigfel will hop out again. And down we go. And we're going to hit another golf ball and make sure it does the same thing. Apparently we're going to jump and lose attitude. Okay. Sigfel, he's very exuberant. What can I say? Okay, let's go ahead and do our EVA science here. Oh, we have a mission to plant a flag, don't we? Yes, we do. So we should definitely do that. So there we go. There's another EVA science. Fantastic. We'll keep that one. And that one will, of course, be stored in the re-entry module, but we can't do a third. So we'll hop up over here. There we go. We'll board. And then just to make sure Valentina gets all the XP that she can, we'll have her be the one that hops out. She's going to walk over here and maybe replace this flag. We don't need another flag here, but we do have a contract to plant another flag on the moon. So we'll have Valentina come on over. She's got her jetpack, so she can, of course, fly on over. And impact the flag, apparently. Can we take this flag down? Yes, we can. Perfect. So we'll take that down, and we will plant a new flag. That completes that contract. Wonderful. And this is going to be Moon Science Outpost. And the plaque text will read, "This is a plaque. It has text." Perfect. Apparently, this is just the default flag for the mission rather than our program flag, which makes me a little sad, to be sure. But we will go ahead and head on back. Valentina has gotten that, and I don't think there's anything else that we need to do here that I've forgotten, is there? There probably is. There probably is. Let's see. We've grabbed all the science we can. This jetpack does, in fact, belong to Sigfel. There we go. I'm not actually sure what the point of having 2 EVA experiment kits is when they can apparently be used infinitely, or at least a large number of times. But okay, we only have 2 places to store the data, so that's fine. Let's go ahead and retract our ladders. Like so. We've set up the equipment. We've put up a flag. And I think that's everything. This contract is indeed complete. So, I think we're ready to head home. Off we go. And we are going to go ahead and retract our landing legs here. And get rid of that for now. Excellent. We'll just head straight up. And let's go ahead and rotate a bit over here. pull our orbit downward a little bit. Something along the lines of this. Excellent. And let's just head over to the horizon at this point. There's no point making any sort of a smooth turn right now. We just want horizontal speed. So that is perfect. So off we go. We are currently about 50 seconds to apoapsis. That will start increasing as our prograde marker comes on over. So this is completely fine. And goodbye, Science Outpost. Goodbye. Hello, Kerbin. We're coming for you. And we're actually burning towards Kerbin right now, which is a little bit unusual. But that's always entertaining. Okay, we may as well flip over to prograde now, I think. We're still time to apoapsis reducing, which is fine. But we are getting ourselves a nice amount of horizontal speed. And time to apoapsis is now increasing. Of course, we want as much horizontal speed as we can right now. Vertical speed isn't particularly important at this juncture. About 30 seconds to apoapsis. And we are continuing to get ourselves orbital speed. Pushing our orbit further and further. And the apoapsis is starting to get pushed quite far as well. So we're going to have to stop this burn pretty soon. I'm going to stay here until we're maybe at like 20 kilometers. Yeah, that'll be fine. And then we will go ahead and raise up our periapsis. Technically, we're in orbit right now, but that's a little bit spooky of an orbit. We'll just raise that on up. I wonder what this return would look like, burning right at this periapsis. Probably not what we're looking for. Yeah, this is not what we're looking for. What if we were to delay this burn, though? No, not burn radial. What if we were to, or rather, not normal. What if we were to delay this burn, instead of burning at the apoapsis, to be over here? Yeah, that's not what we're looking for in the slightest. So instead, all we're going to do is circularize this a wee bit. Bring this down to around 20 kilometers. That'll be fine. And we can delay this burn ever so slightly to be at the apoapsis. And we'll warp to that maneuver. That is, of course, going to be a prograde burn. Excellent. And then we'll figure out our return vector from there. Once we're properly in orbit. Technically, we're properly in orbit. I'm not sure what the highest feature on Moon is. It might not, in fact, be that high. This might be a safe orbit, but I'm gonna be a little safer. Okay, so let's just go ahead and warp towards this burn point. This is only going to be 9.8 meters per second. We want to burn this at T minus half a second. Like that. Okay, so that'll be a good orbit for us. And at this apoapsis now, we probably want to burn, not at this apoapsis, but rather essentially Moon retrograde, which would be burning prograde about here. So, if we can get the maneuver node selected here, there we go. We want to burn prograde like that, which gets us our retrograde re-entry. Or thereabouts. We can do a bit of a radial burn and bring this down to where we want it. Oh yeah. More than plenty. Well, as usual, put this re-entry at about 50 kilometers. Okay, so that's going to be 321 meters per second. That's absolutely fine. No worries. That'll be with plenty of DV for a re-entry burn. And this is going to be kind of a prograde radial burn, so we're not going to be able to just hit prograde here. This is going to be at T minus 25 seconds that we want to perform this burn. There we go. This is actually burning kind of towards the target, which is coming around again. But, like I said, T minus 25 seconds. It will not be towards the target for too much longer. The moon is going this way around Kerbin, so this is why this is a retrograde burn, even though it's prograde. I waited too long. Okay. I was busy looking at other things that I shouldn't have been. Well, we'll just hold this position, and we'll see how this ends up looking. We can always adjust it with our re-entry burn, right? So it's not a big deal. And in fact, right now we're burning almost exactly at our science outpost, which is entertaining. But we're gonna miss it. There's no doubt about that. We are not going to impact our science outpost. No worries whatsoever here. Just adjusting to fit in the node a little bit better. We're no longer burning at our science outpost. Goodbye, outpost. And yeah, we're now in escape velocity. And that'll do. Yeah, that periapsis is very low, but that's okay. We will go ahead and focus on the ComSat, apparently. But we'll do Kerbin, and right around here-ish is when we will, of course, do our radial retrograde burn. So the radial part is to bring up the periapsis. And that's not this periapsis, but this periapsis. We want to bring up the periapsis, and the retrograde is to bring down the apoapsis. And the radial does bring down the apoapsis as well, but not as much. So we want to do it like a healthy balance, something along the lines of this. I want to keep some amount of DV in the tank, so we'll just do something like this. Should be fine. That should be a plenty safe re-entry. We'll go ahead and warp to that maneuver. And off we go. Goodbye, moon. Hello, Kerbin. This will, of course, be a radial retrograde burn, and so we will point at retrograde first. It's going to be a 2-minute, 26-second burn, so at T-minus 1 minute and 13 seconds. It always feels like we're coming in so fast when I do those warps. That always feels so spicy. Okay, so this is not the direction we're going to be pointing, of course. We're going to be up over here. There we go. This is our burn director, or our burn vector, rather. Burn director? I guess I'm the burn director? I don't know. This is going to be actually 2 minutes and 25 to 26 seconds. Okay, we'll burn at 1 minute 13, though. So we'll just go ahead and warp forward. We absolutely want to burn this at the right time. I do not want to be burning this in the Atmo, if at all possible. Good old radial retrograde is going to be hard to hold. Okay, so we're going to burn this right about now. Let the burn begin. And down comes that apoapsis as our orbital speed reduces. Great. We are burning maybe a little high here, but I'm not concerned about it. We've got plenty of delta V, and this will leave a little bit in the tank if necessary. Now, of course, we're going to try to bring back this lander, as usual. If we have to, we can always ditch these bits, but I would prefer not to. Oh, Kerbin, how we have missed your glitchy clouds. Wonderful. I suspect that that probably has something to do with LOD, is my guess, level of detail. Once we get closer, it switches to a higher level of detail, but has to, like, recalculate the shaders. That's my guess. So our periapsis is looking pretty good right now, actually. Our apoapsis is coming down dramatically. We're getting a nice re-entry burn here. And I think the re-entry burn will end at roughly the same time we re-enter, which will be about perfect. We'll keep about 200 meters per second in here. And so we'll have a little bit in the tank for a braking burn if necessary, as well as a landing burn. I'm going to go ahead and retract our Communitron, just because I have a feeling it might burn off on re-entry. There we go. Make that a much smaller target. Adjusting our heading ever so slightly here. And we're about 100 kilometers up right now. We've got about 300 more meters per second to burn here. Excellent. This is looking very, very good. Now, right now, if we were to stop this burn, I suspect that we would not deorbit on this aerobrake pass. However, we absolutely will deorbit on this aerobrake pass once this burn is complete. Excellent. Just trying to hold attitude on this node a little bit better. It's definitely a little wobbly since the latest patch, and I suspect that's on purpose. There we go. That should be good enough. At this point, we should be on surface retrograde. And yeah, we are absolutely going to be re-entering and not hopefully burning up in the atmosphere. We've bled off a lot of speed. Now, we could have just purely aerobraked, but we've got the juice in the tank. We may as well. So let's just go ahead and warp until we enter the atmosphere. There we go. And we're going to be on retrograde. And we're going to, yes, I'm aware of physics warp. We're going to physics warp here until we start to see the heating effects, which will take a little while here. We're still speeding up. We've got about 15 seconds of burn time that we can use as a braking burn, which I actually don't hate the concept of doing. It'll bring us down a little faster. Okay, there's the heating effects. So let's go ahead and do a bit of a braking burn here. And we'll just burn this until we've got 10 seconds left in the tank over here. That'll be fine. And we'll keep those 10 seconds for a landing burn. Now, currently we're going to be landing in Highlands. I'm not sure that's actually going to be true. Yeah, we're going to be doing a land landing, almost certainly. So we'll have to deploy our landing legs, but that's fine. Absolutely no worries about that one. We're definitely cruising. There's no doubt about that, but we're still 40 kilometers up, and we're already moving at 1.9 kilometers per second, so I don't think this is an issue. Yeah, this should be a-okay. We're going to be landing on land. I'm quite sure of this. We're decelerating pretty well. We're down to 1.8 kilometers per second. We're a bit of a fireball right now, but we're not seeing any heating gauges, so it's all good. 1.7 kilometers per second. At this point, we are pretty safe. 1.6. 1.5. Currently looking like grasslands that we're going to be landing in. Actually, right now it's saying water. We might land in water. We'll see. Still moving at about 1 kilometer, 1.1 kilometers per second. It's now saying shores. So I guess we'll see if we land in water or land. We can do both. It'll be fine. Yeah, it's looking like it's going to be a splashdown. Let's go ahead and drop our parachutes. That's going to change this pretty dramatically. We're apparently right by a city. That's, you know, always healthy. Excellent. Where in fact are we on Kerbal? Okay, we're pretty much on the opposite side of the planet from our launch sites, but that's okay. No worries on that front. Yeah, it definitely looks like we're going to be coming down just offshore here. We can launch our main chute and, of course, physics warp down towards the ground. Yeah, we're definitely going to be just offshore here of this city, which, of course, the city is just a texture. And it's very obviously just a texture when you get a little closer. But it's, of course, meant to be seen from space. Okay. So down we come. We are currently about 300 meters up. And let's just let that fall a little bit more. There we go. We're now about 50 meters up. And Flash data. We actually don't have all this data from Kerbin's shores. Interesting. There we go. We'll do that, and should we? I believe we should. We'll let this fall over. That's fine. And now we'll extend the ladder. This is going to go great. We're going to have Sigfel hop out. And Sigfel, can you please be properly attached to the ladder? Okay. Sigfel, just float up. You'll be fine. We'll grab a surface sample. And we need to reset the Science Junior. We'll collect the data. And we will restore that. There we go. And now the question is, how are we going to get the mystery goo? With this thing wobbling all over like this. Well, we'll grab this EVA report. Yeah. I think we got to give up on the mystery goo. Okay, that's fine. We'll just go ahead and recover this. Is this going to be the whole vessel or just Sigfel? We'll find out. I think this is just Sigfel. Let's see here. Yeah, this is just Sigfel. That's fine. And we will, of course, also recover the rest of this. There we go. Perfect. 544.3 science. And Valentina and Bill both, well, they didn't get leveled up, but they gained some XP. Fantastic. And with that, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time.